Alright, it's been about a year since I did the blog series on the easy and free home scale food forest. Basically the premise was to show that people are overthinking some of this stuff, and that with very little or no effort you can have some abundant food. And the point of that is not that you shouldn't make any effort, but that if you make a little effort, you might be able to see that you can do it. Because if I did it with little or no effort, it can be done, and it's not that hard. So real quick, I'll give an update on the plants that are there and where they are. It's been a year. Any effort that I put into this is on the blog. So this will be my last post, I think, about this one, because I'm going to start harvesting some of the stuff, and I haven't touched it, and I'd like to touch it because there's some food in here. This one's pretty easy. It's the Bolivian sunflower. It's known as a dynamic accumulator and also insectary, so it attracts a lot of beneficial insects with those beautiful flowers. And this is a great chop and block, or chop and drop I should say, plant for that purpose. As we go around the corner, there's a citrus that was the mystery citrus. It's not doing amazing, but it's doing quite well. There's no greening. It's growing. I don't know what it is. I'm hoping next year, after we get through the winter, we'll be able to figure out what that is. There's a hibiscus that I've been asked about many times as far as am I growing anything questionable, and no, it's not questionable. It's a hibiscus. It's on the blog. It's edible leaf. It's quite good, actually. Let's see if I can get it from the other side so you get a better view as we move our way around the corner. Here's a shot of that hibiscus I was telling you about. That this hibiscus is often mistaken due to a miscommunication several years ago in this part of Florida as a canaf, but it's not a canaf. But it's a beautiful plant, as long as you can convince people that it's a hibiscus and not something people shouldn't be growing based on the leaf structure. Sometimes people get a little confused. It's an edible leaf. It's a beautiful flower. It grows readily. I planted a half-dead little sprig and haven't done anything to it in over a year, tucked amongst the plants, and it's fighting its way out. You can see how it's, running towards the light. So this is the south side of the mini food forest, and from the face, now that everything's kind of grown and the ones that are winning have started choking out some of the smaller ones, you can see the edge effect where you've got very abundant explosive growth. Cassava is one of the staple crops of the world, and for those Latins among us, it's also known as yuca. So it makes a very good, for our purposes, Christmas Eve wouldn't be the same without it, and it's a root crop. Lots of food value there as far as a staple crop. We've got some porterweed growing quite nicely on the edge. This stuff's pretty cool because the flowers taste to me like mushrooms. So they do really well in salads as far as the flowers. Just a nice little touch. Sweet potato vine is going crazy as a ground cover, and you can see those burgundy looking things are cranberry hibiscus that have volunteered and started growing on their own as they go through there. If I back up a little bit, you can see a little bit more mature cranberry hibiscus. That's the one we actually planted. The rest of them have come up on their own over the year that the garden's been in place. That stuff makes good tea with the calyx from the flowers. The leaves are edible raw in salads and quite good. I've heard of people cooking the leaves too, but I just like them raw in the salad. Especially the baby leaves are really nice and tart. It adds a nice punch of flavor. This is the blue basil, or I've heard it had lots of names for it, but it's a type of basil that's perennial here, and it does quite well. It's going to sleep a little bit for the cool weather coming up, but it's doing nice. It should be around for a while. Going around the corner, we've got Jamaican sorrel. This is a roselle doing quite well in the corner, also known as Jamaican sorrel, used for tea and forage. The calyx is used to brew the tea, and they call it it's a red zinger tea. You come around the corner, you have pigeon pea, pretty good in the background here. It's a very windy day, but the pigeon pea is also known as gandules. Heard from a Jamaican friend that the red beans and rice that they use in Jamaica is actually being replaced, the red beans, by pigeon peas. They're using gandules and rice, so pretty popular item. We've got in the background here, we've got a chaya growing that's also known as a tree spinach, and this got knocked over, but it's still going in the background. It kind of rooted and took off, so it's fighting its way back to life in the background, so hopefully it'll keep going. But a year later, without being touched, it's doing pretty good. We've got some comfrey still in the back, hidden in the midst of the forest. Comfrey has a world of uses as an herb and as a dynamic accumulator. It's a great support species in and among all the sweet potatoes down there. So it's going real well. So as we sneak around the back, there's lots of stuff we didn't plant that came up, like the Caesar weed. That's an invasive. My goats love it though, so I don't mind it too much. Again, I haven't done anything in this garden, and this is about as much as I've done today. A year later, I haven't actually come in here at all. More spinach growing awesome. This stuff is great, raw or cooked, but it's been dry. We haven't had much rain, so I'm pretty impressed with the way things are looking, considering they haven't been touched. So I'm not sure that we're going to keep this garden where it is. I mean, I probably won't do anything to it, but at the same time, I may come in and harvest a little bit because there's some food in here waiting to be eaten. Sweet potatoes should be ready, and I'm going to dig them up.